Hey book friends, welcome to my winter TBR video. I love making seasonal TBRs, I really do. And I feel like winter TBRs don't get as much love as fall TBRs, but they are so much fun to make. And so I'm going to be talking about some of the books I want to read in December, January, and February. So we definitely have some Christmas books here, but we also have a number of like continuations in series and some other random books. So let's just hop in and go through all of the books that I have plans for this upcoming winter season. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome back to the channel. Like I said, we're going to be talking about my winter TBR. Now this does not mean that all of these books are set during the winter. This means this is a group of books I want to put on a designated TBR because I often pull from this TBR for my TBR University game, as well as I put these books in a specific spot on my bookshelves so I can prioritize them over the next 3 months. Let's start with some holiday romances. And well, maybe they're holiday or they're just winter. I'm not quite sure if they are really truly Christmassy, but these are 2 books that I have out from the library that just looked like this season, right? Okay, so I have Any Trope But You by Victoria Levine. So I just read the back really quick. It's about our main female character, Margot, who is a romance writer. Although she does not believe in happily ever afters, like she even crafts alternative endings to her books that makes the characters like divorce and all these things, which just cracks me up. And for some reason she has kind of a falling out with her readership, but yet she is trying to support her chronically ill sister, I think. And so she is trading romance for murder. And so she wants to write her first murder mystery. And she does this by going up on a 6-week stay in a remote Alaskan lodge to do that. Then our main male character, Dr. Forrest Wakefield. Oh, he used to be a cancer researcher. He's back at his family's lodge because his dad is sick. And so obviously they're going to run into each other. It sounds really fun. So not necessarily Christmas, but winter. This one though might be my priority for romances because this just sounds really good. It's A Season for Second Chances by Jenny Bayliss. I believe this has to do with a woman who gets divorced after all her kids are grown up. She was married for 26 years and she decides to kind of move and find a new job, like as a winter guardian position at a historic seaside house and start a new life. I don't need to know any more than that. That just sounds really cute. So this is truly a Christmas romance. I have it on my Kindle. It's called Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. From what I understand this book is about, it sounds like for the past 10 years, these 2 characters, Molly and Andrew, have caught the last flight from Chicago to Ireland, except this year there's a freak snowstorm, and I believe she's trying to get him home because he is a huge Christmas person and she's not so much. And I think for some reason she's trying to just help him have the Christmas he wants or something like that, and they fall in love. Maybe, possibly, most likely. I'm also going to be reading this book. I'm doing an extra buddy read with some of the ladies in my Discord group that I run for my reading challenge, and we are going to be reading The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. Now this came out last year. I picked it up and I just didn't get to it last Christmas season, but I think it sounds really fun. It's described as Knives Out gets a rom-com twist in this Christmas romance mystery. She's a cozy mystery writer and he's a thriller writer. And they're both invited to this like Christmas house party on this English estate of a famous murder mystery writer or something to that notion. And then maybe people start dying. I don't really know. And there's romance and death. I could be totally wrong on that, but it's on my list and I really want to get to it. But the other romance that is wintry, and this has nothing to do with the holiday season, so I could read this in January or February as well. I want to continue with the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. So I have The Mistake next. And I don't even know which roommate we're following, but I believe what we are following the roommates of Garrett from the first book. So he lives in a house with all his hockey roommates, and it's another one of those. Don't know what The Mistake is, don't really know what the plot is, but I want to try it again because I really liked that book, and it surprised me. I read it for my romance project, and I want to see if the rest of the series is just as good or if it was like a one-off. So I am putting The Mistake by Elle Kennedy on my winter TBR. Okay, so those are the wintry kind of books that I want to read over the next 3 months, but I also have a number of books I want to read because I want to continue these series. The first being this one, so Two Twisted Crowds by Rachel Gillig. So I read One Dark Window. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting, Elspeth, and just how the monster in her head worked, how the tarot card magic worked. I was really intrigued by the end of that first book, where it left our characters, and I've heard this second book is a continuation. Like, it's the second book in the duology, and it finishes out the series, but it also tracks another romantic pairing, which I thought was really interesting. And I wasn't expecting that. So I'm curious, first off, who it's going to be, but then also how are they going to get themselves out of the situation that the first book ended in, because that was just really interesting. I realized that now we're out of the like spooky season, and I really did enjoy the atmosphere of this book. It was very fall vibes, but that's okay. It still kind of gives a little bit of wintry vibes, so we're gonna go with that. As well as I want to continue on with the Scholomance series. This is by Naomi Novik, and this is the second book, The Last Graduate. I read the first book, A Deadly Education, as a buddy read for my reading challenge, and it was such mixed results. And honestly, I still feel a little conflicted about that first book. It was unique, to put it lightly. It's about this school of monsters, basically, where the kids are actually safer in the school that is trying to attack them and kill them than they are outside of the school, where the monsters are still out there. And so basically our main characters are trying to survive the school. Like, they're taking classes, sort of, but there's no real teachers. There's like, the school is assigning them projects and things like that, and they all have like specific disciplines that they pursue in order to, upon graduation, join these enclaves, or these groups of people that can kind of stay safe because of numbers, if you will. And so our main character in the beginning, she was so standoffish. She was such kind of like a little jerk to everybody at the school, even the people who were trying to like be friends with her, because she just didn't trust anybody. And there was some reasoning behind that, and it made sense, but she just never really softened, even though it was to her advantage to make some of these friendships. And so I liked the interactions. I liked how they were fighting the monsters. The monsters were very interesting, albeit a bit confusing. I was confused, but it almost feels like a fever dream that you just kind of have to experience. And because of that, I feel like I want to know what's going to happen next. And so I want to keep reading that, because again, it's a book that I feel like I probably should keep reading, or I'm going to get confused. Another one that is not necessarily, I'm thinking I'm going to get confused if I don't continue, because it was a pretty straightforward plot, but I really enjoyed the first book of Blood and Steel by Helen Schurer, and this is Vows and Ruin. So this is book 2 in the Legends of Thesmar. We're going to continue following Althea after some of the things that happened at the end of the first book. It's good. It was a well-plotted, very interesting first book where we're following Althea, who is part of this realm where women are not allowed to join the fighters. Basically, there was a prophecy that said that a woman who held a blade or something would bring down everybody to that notion. But early in that first book, she overcomes that, or finds a little bit of a loophole, and she starts training. And one of her trainers is a man called Wilder Hawthorne, who is a war sword, and he is kind of the front line against these monsters who are trying to break through the veil. And she is part of the group that's being trained up to also protect the realm. I want to know what happens next. I love that the first book was slow burn. It is definitely a romantasy book, but it isn't very focused on the romance in the beginning. It is. That helps move the plot, but it isn't the plot, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that's going to change in this book, but based on how things ended, I feel like we're still going to slow burn, which makes me happy. Oh, another book. Okay, I'm going to read these next two. I'm going to read these next two in the next 3 months. I have to, because I really enjoyed these series in 2025, and I do not think I will be able to fit these in by the end of the year. So these are definitely kind of more January, February want to read books. And the first being The Curse of Gods by Kate Dramas. I really enjoyed The Curse of Saints. I enjoyed our main characters of Will, especially Will, but I also really liked Aya. And in this world there's magic, but people only have bits of it. Nobody has all of it. It's kind of been scattered, if you will. And our main characters do have a bit of the magic, and they are part of this inner team around the queen, and she sends them out as like spy masters and things like that. And in the first book, Aya learned some things about herself that makes it so that she might be a danger to herself and others, and she has to figure some of that out. And it's really, really good. And I love the interaction between Aya and Will, as well as Tova, and some of the new people that were added as the world expanded in the second book. I really enjoyed. And so I want to get to the third book. I will, along with this one, because I need to finish this book before I forget it all. And that's Wrath by John Gwynne. This is the fourth book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. This series is so epic in scope and so interesting. I have really enjoyed the storytelling because it's basically about this realm where there was this God war previously, and the God war is coming back. There's like a good side and a bad side, and when it comes to the human beings, there's like an representative or like maybe an avatar for each side. And in that first book, you're trying to figure out who's on which side and who's going to be the bright star and who's going to be the black sun. And it's very convoluted and complicated, and there's lots of lore and mystery and people involved. It gives me very like Lord of the Rings in some ways, just because of all the traveling and some of the people involved. And I was really rooting for the characters, and I really wanted certain ones to win, and I really wanted certain ones to like change sides and all of these things. So I was like invested, and I want to know how it ends. I just feel like I can't pick it up because of how the third book ended. I was just crushed. It was so good. I have 2 more books, and they are a bit more random. I want to read this book. I got it out from the library a while back, and I just haven't picked it up yet. It's called The Liar's Crown by Abigail Owen. Now, why I want to read this is because I have been loving Abigail Owen's books. Like, I really, really like The Games Gods Play, The Things Gods Break. I got a little bit obsessed there maybe last month. I'll link my wrap up if you're curious about my thoughts about those books, because they were just so much fun and so good. Those are adult books. This actually is a YA book, and I believe it has to do with a second princess. And I actually don't know much more than that. Like, there's a hidden twin princess born second. She has only one purpose: to sacrifice her life for her sister if death comes for her. Oh, and it sounds like upon the death of the queen, there's a king who has sent for her sister. When they come to collect her, they take the wrong princess. Something like that. That sounds so good. I would love to hop into a new YA series, and that sounds like my exact type of book. Next, though, is another one that I am so excited for. The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bavellano. Now, I've heard that this is just deeply romantic, and I love that. I also love the fact that it's a standalone, and it is about a mage and her protector. Grey Finn has dedicated her life to her mage, and so she is like his protector, and they have to go into battle and protect something. But the problem is that if she were to die, the well of magic for everybody would like be depleted or something to that notion, so she can't die. But I don't know the bigger, broader plot. That just sounds so interesting to me, and just like the fact that she's the protector also sounds really fun. Hopefully I can get to this one in the next 3 months. But you guys, that is my winter TBR. I think it's a really good one. Like I said, I will often use this set of books to pull from when I'm making my TBRs and playing TBR University, and so it's important for me to have a good stack of options. So that's what I'm working off of. Let me know down below if you make seasonal TBRs. Do you enjoy that? I know it's hit or miss for people, but I really, really like it. But anyway, if you can't think of anything you necessarily want to say, let's do a Christmas tree for, you know, the holiday season coming up, and a winter TBR and all the things. That's all that I have. So give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. And you guys, I will see you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye.